Hi friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today I put together a compilation video of some of our favorite winter crafts. So with all of that, let's get to crafting. Okay, here is DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I start out with something I printed for my Cricut. These wood skates and this tag, all from Dollar Tree. So I start off by scraping off all of the glitter that was on the front of this sign. Now I'm not going to use the front, I am going to use the back, but I like to get all the glitter off. Otherwise, when I'm working with this, I'm getting glitter everywhere. So once I had all the glitter off and cleaned up, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I am just giving that back side a really good thorough coat. And then after that is done and dried, then I'm going to take that decal that I made off of my Cricut, and I am just placing it up on top, and it says skating in a winter wonderland. And I kind of struggled. I put this really fast because it took me a while to get that off of there or on it, I guess I should say. Then after that, I used my heat gun to loosen the glue for that snowflake that was on the skate, and I got it off, and then I'm just painting the cuff of that skate black or ink, and then the sole of the skate I'm painting with that ink color as well. And then after that, I took Waverly chalk paint in the color Silver Lining and painted the skate part. Then I took my Crocodile, and I'm just going to punch a hole through each one of those little dots for the laces. I thought this would be very pretty to do. So then after that, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and I painted the boot of that skate as well as the snowflake that was on it. So then I'm taking this ribbon. Now I got this ribbon years and years ago at a craft store back in Oregon when we lived there. And I am just using it. I folded it in half, and I am just weaving it in and out of those holes so that way it can be the lace on that skate. And then after I get it all laced up, I'm just looking there, making sure that it is lined up correctly with the edges there. And then once I got that all done, I took some of that, well, I trimmed it, I guess. Then I'm going to hot glue those little pieces down just to help keep that lace from moving around. I don't think it would have moved around, but I just figured it's better to secure it down, and then you know it's not going to move. And then after that, I took some more of that ribbon, and I'm just making a little bow, just like you see there. And once I get it all done fluffed, I'm going to hot glue that on at the top of the laces. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. I am so happy you're here. If you like home decor on a budget, if you like thrift flips, holiday decor, gift ideas, and an occasional Dollar Tree haul, I really hope you would hit that subscribe button, become part of our family. I would really like to reach 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm only a little over 900 away. So yeah, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, become part of our family, and then hit the notification bell so that way YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a video. So after I get this hot glued on, I am going to take that star, and I am putting on its folk art metallic silver glitter paint. And I had realized that I had painted it white, and you weren't going to be able to see it very well against that white boot. So that's why I decided to add that silver glitter paint on it. And I really love the way it came out. And then I took some more of those. That's what it looks like there. I took some little wooden snowflakes that I got from Dollar Tree, and I painted them with with the silver lining paint, and then I covered them with that glitter paint as well. So here I'm just hot gluing that skate on. I'm putting that little snowflake that originally was on the skate back on it, and then I'm just adding a few of those snowflakes on the board there. And after I get those hot glued, I think I'm just going to be putting on the hanger. There we go. Yep, I'm using the same ribbon that I used for the skate, and I am just gonna put it through the hole, tie a knot on the end, and then I have a hanger, and that's all there was for this one. And I think it came out so cute. My colors for winter this year is just going to be a pretty simple black and white with some silver in it. Oh yeah, you can, if you want, you can cover the back to make it look finished. And there it is. I just love it. I did add another little snowflake on the boot where the hanger was, the hole was there, just to cover that up. But I think it came out looking really cute. You have to let me know what you think about it in the comment box. So here's DIY number 2. So for this DIY, guys, I had this bush of little mini roses that I got from Hobby Lobby. So I just cut part of that off. I'm taking 2 crates from Dollar Tree and this Waverly Antique Wax. And those are not crates, those are pallets. So I'm going to start off by cut the hanger off one of those pallets, not both, just one. And then I gave both of them a really good coating of the antique wax. I brushed it all on, and then I took a paper towel and wiped it off wiped off the excess with my paper towel, which you could use a paper towel, you could use a cloth, you could use a wet one, whatever you'd like to do. So once they were all done, I took a popsicle stick or a craft stick, and I'm just hot gluing it to the back where they join to keep them together. And then I'm going to trim it down some more and put a little bit on the ends of each one. And this one, guys, is a really simple, easy DIY. It can be for winter. It can be for just normal. I love it. I just think it came out adorable. And yeah, you'll see here how you can change it out. So as soon as I get done hot gluing this all together, I'm going to take those roses and I'm just kind of placing them where I want them. And then I'm going to hot glue them right onto the pallets there. And then I just hold them down for a few minutes just to make sure that it all adheres to that board. Or the pallets, I should say. Then I took some black buffalo check ribbon and I'm hot gluing them to the back side of the pallets, like you see, the edges, I should say, so that it goes around the front part of those pallets. And this is so Farmhouse, you guys. I am absolutely loving it. I'm ready to get into some just regular Farmhouse decor, I think. Then I took some more of that ribbon and I'm just making the Brenda bow, which is basically you make the awareness ribbon sign and then you scrunch it in the middle and use something to tie, which I'm using some jute string there. I'm just wrapping it around the middle, tying it around the middle. Then I wrap the strings around a couple of times and tie it in a knot. And then you have a bow, a very easy bow. And I call it the Brenda bow just because that's about the only bow I ever make. That or a shoestring bow. But I'm going to start working on doing some more bows, guys. I know I keep saying that. I just got to do it. And then after that, I just kind of fluff it. I'm going to trim that off and dovetail the ends. And then I'm going to hot glue it right down on the bottom where the other ribbon was there. And then after I hot glue it on, I think, is there something else? Oh, I know else. Yes. So to make this kind of go with my winter theme, I took some of the frosted fern picks that I got from Dollar Tree and I'm just placing it inside with those roses. And I think it's really pretty. It gives that kind of soft, wintry vibe. You can do this if you want. You don't have to, like I said, without having these on there. It's a perfect little farmhouse wall decor that you can have year round if you want. But I just love it. I think it came out so sweet and so cute. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well in the comment box. Okay, here is DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I started out with 2 of these signs that I got from Dollar Tree, as well as a decal that I printed or created on my Cricut MySpace or Cricut Design Space, my Waverly chalk paint in the color white, and this folk art silver glitter paint. So of course I start off by taking the hangers off of both of those signs. And then I realized I still had a lot of glitter on my table from the previous video. So I'm trying to clean it all off. And then I'm just laying it out here. And I am going to use a couple of these jumbo craft sticks and some 5-gallon stir sticks that I had that had been cut previously. I ran out of the jumbo craft sticks, so I decided to use those to attach on the back of the sign to make those signs come together. And so once I had that all done, I painted it all with my white chalk paint. And once that was dry, I took my silver glittery paint and I'm like doing distressing brush strokes. I wanted it to just have that silvery, sparkly look to it. And I love the way it came out because it just makes it kind of look like there's ice on the picture, which is kind of what I was going for. Then I took my chippy brush and I just went along and just brushed over the edges like you see there all the way around that picture or those pictures. Once I was done, I used my silver metallic paint marker that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I am just outlining the snowflakes on the top there, which probably didn't really need to be done because you don't see those snowflakes very well at the end. But you'll see that in a little bit. Then I took my decal and I am laying it on to my picture there. And it says silver white winters that melt into spring. And that's kind of why I wanted those silver streaks, because I just thought that that would just look really good with that saying. So once I get this all on, and I have this sped way up, guys. I always seem to have problems with those. I took 3 of these wood snowflakes and some of these little snowflakes from, the little ones are from Hobby Lobby, the bigger ones from Dollar Tree. I did put some spackling into the ornament hole on those bigger ones, but then I painted all of them black, and then I gave them a good coating of the glitter, silver glitter paint there. And then once they were all dry, I just laid them out where I wanted them on the sign, and I'm just going to hot glue them in place. And once I get them all hot glued, I took this ribbon I got from Amazon, and I'll have it in my Amazon store. You can find the link for it in my link tree. And I'm just making the Brenda bow. I'm making the awareness sign and then scrunching up in the middle. But this is really thick ribbon, and it's kind of stiff. So I was having a little hard time there getting it to scrunch and to look right. But when I finally got it, I trim it off, and I get no, I don't get a twist tie. I get some jute string. And I'm just going to use that to tie in the middle of my bow. So I just tie it really tighten as much as I could, and then tie a knot in the back. And I was just wanting to kind of fluff it, make sure it was all going to look okay once I got that tied in. So then I just trim off the back, and I'm going to dovetail the ends and fluff my bow. And then after that, I'm going to hot glue it to the board, and that is really all there was left for this DIY. I think it came out so pretty. My winter colors are black and white and silver, and I love it. Oh, I did take a couple more of those snowflakes and painted them and added them to cover the holes for where the hangers were. So there they are. You have to let me know what you think about this, if you like it, if you think you'll recreate it. Yeah, just let me know what you think about it in the comment box below. And here's DIY number 2. So for those of you that don't know, I am a chalk couture designer. So I got this off of their Black Friday event, this Snow Rider transfer I love. And then also with that frame I got from Chalk Couture. And I'm using my chalk paste in the color Storm, bright white, and candy apple red. So one of the things that I love about Chalk Couture is that if you mess up or you want to change out your picture, you can just wash it off because it's chalk paste. So it washes right off if you have one of these surfaces and you don't make it permanent. So here I'm just, because I haven't used this transfer before, I was just fuzzing it there so that when you pull this transfer off, since it has an adhesive on the back, it won't stretch it because you want it to be a little smoother pulling off. Here I'm just using my Storm chalk paste to cover the small wordings, and then I'll use white for all the big words and the snowflakes. So this I had to do twice. This is the second time, or first time actually, that I did it. I didn't show my second time because when I pulled it off, I'm still learning a lot about this, and I think I needed to add thicker coats because there was a lot of it worn off. And that's what I love about Chalk Couture, is that I could just wash it off, dry it, and start over. And so it just makes it, I don't know. I mean, normally you think about it, if you did a stencil, you would have to throw it away and start all over for a regular stencil. So anyway, so here you see, I show that I'm doing some snowflakes in the black shimmer, but I decided I really didn't like that. So the second time I did it, I just did all the snowflakes in white. And then I am just covering the top of that sled with my candy apple red. And I did the sleigh runners with that storm gray color as well. So then after I get this all done and coated, I will pull it off. And you know, there was still some spots in the gray that didn't come out as good. So I did go back and do a little bit of touch up, and it looks beautiful now. So there it is. It was really simple. I thought about adding a bow to it, but this stuff, you guys, is just so beautiful. I didn't want to take away from it. I love this transfer. So let me know if you're interested in Chalk Couture, if you'd like to be a designer, if you'd like to order some, if you'd like to be part of the Chalk Club. I'd love to answer your question. Okay, DIY number 3. So I took one of these signs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some tape, some painter's tape here, and I am going to put it all along the top part of my sign to protect it because I don't want it to be painted the same color as the middle. So after I had that on there, I painted the middle of it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. And then once that was all dry, I took that paint off, covered the inside of it, and then went over the edge, the top part of the edge, and the top part of the sign and the edge of the sign with my Waverly Antique Wax. Now, I did not wipe this off because that MDF just soaks in that wax. So I just basically am just doing it to give it a more darker color, but if you wanted to keep it that color, you definitely could. So after that, I removed my tape, let it dry, and I took some of these small wood snowflakes. I got these from Hobby Lobby. I think you can, I don't know if Dollar Tree has any of these or not, but you can pretty much find these almost anywhere. And I'm just painting them with my white chalk paint. And then once they were dry, I was like, you know what? I think I want to add a bigger one. So I had a bigger one that came, I think, from Walmart, and I painted that white too. So I'm going to take my Titebond glue again, and I'm just going to glue all of those in a circle. Now I kind of did something like this for the fall with the fall leaves, the little wood leaves from Hobby Lobby. That was so pretty and I just loved it. And I just thought this would be kind of fun to do this for winter as well. So I'm just going to glue all of them, including that big one, in this sign. I'm making this super simple. If you want to recreate it, you could put a saying in the middle if you wanted, you know, like hello winter or whatever. I just wanted to make it simple and a little bit on the more rustic side. So I took some greenery. These came from candle rings from Hobby Lobby. I cut them off. I'm going to add some pine cones and I'm just going to keep filling it in. on the bottom until I liked it. Now, if you have a Hobby Lobby next to you, and if you haven't been there yet, I would recommend going, because right now all their Christmas stuff is 70% off. I got a whole bunch more of those candle rings. I love getting them this time of year when everything is on sale, because instead of paying $7, $8, you're paying a couple of dollars. And these things are perfect for crafting with, and I just love them. So yeah, I got quite a few for next season. And so after I got done doing that, I just took the hanger and I'm going to add it back in, but I didn't like the way it was hanging. So off camera, I did take a longer piece of jute rib twine, and I ran it through just like this, but instead of tying knots in the back, I tied them together. And then I don't know how to explain it. I tied a knot in the top. I don't know why I didn't show it, but I added a few beads and then just kind of added a hanger to it. I don't know how to explain it. I really wish I would have shown it. I am really sorry I didn't. But there it is. I love the simplicity of it, and I hope you do too. And I love the rusticness of it too. That just hits home with me. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm taking this gift bag that I got from Walmart. I got it right before Christmas, and I cut off that tag, and then I'm going to cut out the front part of this bag. Now this bag is two-sided. It has trees on this side as well. I thought about using them, but yeah. My item that I'm putting it on is not big enough, but I'm going to save the rest of that bag for another time because it is still perfect to use for a DIY. The snowflakes are just not shiny, but that's fine with me. So after I had it cut out, I removed the handle from the inside, and then I'm just going to put it in this charger, and I'm going to score it and then cut it down to trim. Now this charger is one that I got this fall at Dollar Tree. It was the most beautiful bronzy gold I have ever seen. I bought a couple of them, but you could definitely use any kind of charger that you might have on hand, or any kind of bag that you might find that you really like if you want to recreate this. It's all a matter of using what you have or what you can find and making it your own. So after I had that cut out, I took my Mod Podge here, and I'm just going to cover the area that I'm going to lay my bag on. Now I did use a little pencil to kind of mark where the top part of my bag was going to lay, so I knew how far up to go. And then I'm just going to lay it in. Now I did kind of add a little extra Mod Podge there because it is thicker than, you know, since the bag, it is a little thicker. And so I'm just going to add a little more Mod Podge to the back of the top part there to make sure that it had plenty. And then I just kind of rubbed it smooth until I made sure it was all on, and I wiped off all that excess that was on the side. And then I took my Mod Podge, excuse me, and I'm going to go over it to protect that bag. It's just an extra coating of protection so that the bag is not easily ripped. And then of course I'm going to leave that to dry, and I did wipe off all that excess that you see along the sides and along the top. Then I took some jute twine, and I'm going to go all the way around my charger, just so it kind of gives it a finished look. I did have some gold cording I was going to do, but for some reason, I don't know what was wrong with me, but I was just going heavy-handed with the hot glue, and that cord is a lot thinner than this jute cord, and so it wasn't looking good. So I pulled it off and decided to just stay with the jute cord here because it is a little more rustic anyways. So then I took some of these pieces. Now the dark greenery pieces came from Amazon, and then no, actually I think they came from Temu, and then the lighter green pieces came from Dollar Tree. I loved these. Whenever I saw them at Dollar Tree, I picked some up because they're just, I loved them. They're beautiful. I'm putting them together like you see, and then I'm just taking some floral wire and wrapping it around the middle just to keep them in place, and then twist really tightly. That gives it a more tight finish. And then I left the ends open a little bit because I'm going to make a bow. So I took this beautiful ribbon. I got this at Joann's before Christmas this year. and I'm just making a bow doing the awareness ribbon and scrunching it up in the middle. And then I'm using that wire to just wrap it around to hold it in place. Then I'm going to do I think it's a 4-loop finger bow. I'm trying to go slow here, but I'm getting so good at these that it's hard to go slow. I wrap my fingers 4 times. I take that tail, I wrap it around the middle of my fingers there, come up and go through that wrap that I just made, and then pull really tightly. You want to keep your fingers in when you pull, otherwise it will pull those loops. And then after that, I'm just going to attach that to the front of my bow, and then I'm going to tighten that wire as well. Then after I am done, I'm going to hot glue it. Now I'm going to dovetail the ends of those ribbon tails, because you definitely want them to look decorative. If you don't like the dovetail look, you can just leave it as is. I like the dovetail look. And then I'm just going to put some hot glue on the back and hold it in there. It felt like forever. And then I'm just going to add a little jute twine hanger to the back. And we have ourselves a very beautiful little winter woodland sign. Yeah, I really love it. I think that bag was just beautiful. You'll have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Here's DIY number 3. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this. It's supposed to be a 12 by 12 round, or 12-inch round. I guess not 12 by 12, 12-inch round. But when I measured it, it's just under 12 inches. So I took off the hanger, and then I took this nutmeg by Folk Art, and I'm putting it in a plate here, and I'm just going to water it down. Now I was going to use my antique wax for this, but then I remembered that vinyl doesn't really care for the wax, and I'm going to use the Dollar Tree vinyl, which is even worse. And so I thought, well, okay, what else can I do? So I went through all the browns that I had, and I felt like this nutmeg was about the right color of what I was imagining. So I'm just watering it way down. I just keep adding water until it felt like the consistency that I would want. And then I'm just going to brush it all onto my wood round. And then I'm taking a paper towel and I'm going to rub it in, and it works just perfectly for a stain. You can see the wood. What do you call it? Anyways, you can see the wood in the, in the background of the stain. And I just love how this came out. But that wood round was it was warped. So I decided to use some wood glue and hot glue, and I'm going to add another wood round to it to kind of help straighten it out some. And so, yeah. So, and I had already added that stain to both sides. That's why you see me doing it on this side. But once I have this added, I'm making sure to match up the holes to the holes on the other one, just like you see me doing right there. And then I'm going to use some clamps to just kind of clamp it down for a few minutes, just until that hot glue sets. And I did that just wherever I saw that the wood was kind of warped. And then after that, I went ahead and covered the back side of that with some more of that stain. Luckily, I made quite a bit. Now, I went to go use my little scraper tool there to get that vinyl onto my transfer tape. But this vinyl is so horrible. I didn't need to even rub it at all. It just stuck right to my transfer tape. Anyway, so I'm going to place it onto my wood round here. And I think I told you this wood round came from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to burnish it on here and then lift my transfer tape. Oh my goodness. Okay, once I have this all on, now I wasn't planning on keeping this on there, so that's why I'm using the Dollar Tree vinyl. I am going to take my ink color by Waverly, and I'm just going to go over the whole wood round with my ink. And you're probably saying, well, why would you put the stain on there and then go over it with your black? Well, you're going to see the magic in just a moment. But I love this. I've done this technique a couple of times with other colors, and I just love how it looks and how it turns out. And this one I absolutely love. Now, I was going to put a saying on the top of this. I was going to put winter blessings. But after I got my black on there, I went, oh, shoot, I forgot to put my decal down for the saying. So it's going to have no saying at all. And then I'm just going over the edge with that black. And I don't think I painted the black back. Or did I? I don't remember. I should have if I didn't, because I got some on the back. I think I did. Anyways, I'm just going to rip off that vinyl and expose that stain color. And I love this. It is so beautiful. Of course, I really love the black with the antique wax anyways, or this brown color. And I don't know. I just love this. So I'm just going to continue pulling. Now you could probably do this when it's dry. And with this Dollar Tree vinyl, it probably would have been better to do it when it was dry, because it probably would have popped off easier. And I wouldn't be getting paint all over my fingers. And I was trying to be really careful because I didn't want to get the paint that was on my fingers on my round, because that's something I would do. And I was pretty good at not getting it on there. But anyways, I just carefully kept pulling and using my Cricut tool here to just kind of help me remove it. And look how beautiful that is. I just love it. So once I had it done, I got these 6-foot garlands from Walmart. These were before Christmas, and the bigger ones was $7.99. The smaller ones were $6.99. But I think it's such a great deal. I always like to get some that are more neutral that I can use throughout the year. And I'm going to make a hanger with it. Now I was going to add some greenery to the top of this, and you could, if you want to recreate this, definitely could do something like that. But I just really liked how simple it was, and so I decided to just add these wood beads as a hanger. I'm adding one big one to 2 small ones. So I'll add a big one, add 2 small ones, add another big one, add 2 small ones. And I did that until I think I have 20 beads on there. I always try to stay with an even number, or end up with an even number. Otherwise, when you hang it, it kind of hangs crooked. So as you can see there too, I had put tape on the end of my jute twine because I wanted to be able to thread it through those beads easier. And then I'm just going to tie it. I thread it through the holes and tied a knot. And then I will do the same thing with the other side. I put some tape on the end so it threads through that hole much easier. And then after I have that taped in, I'm going to thread it through again. And I'm going from the front to the back. And then I'm just going to tie the knot up around the top part of it. Now, I originally had done this, and I had just put the string from the front to the back and tied knots, but it was hanging weird, so I decided to do it this way. Much better. And look how beautiful that is. I love it. You could even add glittery snow if you wanted to. That would have been really pretty too. I should have done that. I have that glitter paint. That would have been really pretty, but I love it. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, DIY number 4. So for this DIY, I'm going to take this sign from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove that beaded hanger, and I'm going to save it because you can always use that for other projects. And once I had that done, I taped off the front part because I will get paint or whatever I'm doing all over the place. So I've learned to use that tape. And then I'm just going to use my antique wax and a baby wipe, and I'm just going to go all the way around the frame part of my picture here. This is a super easy DIY, you guys. I have to admit, I am done with winter. I know I did my poll and majority of people still wanted winter. I'm doing this for you. I'm going to have 1, maybe 2 more. I can't decide if I'm going to do another one, a winter DIY video, but I'm ready to move on. And this is why. I saw this saying, I was looking for, what was I looking for? I was looking for something, and on Cricut Design Space, and I was like, I really am sick of winter. When I'm fine with winter in December, but after Christmas, you guys, I don't want winter anymore. I want it to be spring. And I saw this saying, because I was thinking I need to make a sign that says something like, I hate winter or something like that. And I saw this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. And it says, Dear Winter, I'm breaking up with you. Summer is hotter. And I just cracked up when I saw that, because that's really how I feel. And there's Mr. Oliver. I think he was lonely. He came to visit me, so I put him up here to spend some time with me. But I'm just going to use some of those greenery picks from Dollar Tree that I love. And I am Just going to hot glue some along the top part of this just to kind of give it a little more of a winter feel. I thought about maybe adding a little wood sunshine or something like that, but nah, I did decide to just keep this winter theme going. And I'm just cutting off the ends and I'm just going to hot glue them onto the top. Now, Oliver normally doesn't like being on my table and he wants to get down, but I think he was really lonely because look, he just laid down. And I think that's because he wanted to spend time with me. My husband wasn't home yet from work and my mom was in her room. And so he was out in the living room by himself. I think he was lonely. I felt bad. So after I had those on there, I took 3 pine cones and I'm going to hot glue them to the front where those greenery pieces are. And then I'm going to take some tumbling tower blocks. And I don't know what it is, you guys, but I have a hard time sometimes with making stands with these. So I took 4. I'm going to hot glue them end to end. And I am going to use my antique wax with a baby wipe and go over it. And then I'm going to glue it to the back of my stand. And when I was on my table, look at those eyes. Aren't those eyes so adorable? Anyways, when I had it on my table, it stood up just fine. And when I went to go take pictures, it wouldn't stand up. So I did end up taking a couple more and I hot glued them to the back part of these once it was on my sign. So you have 5 and then you have 2 right behind it. And then now it stands better, but I don't know why I feel like I can never hot glue it correctly to where it stands up and I have to do the added tumbling tower blocks to my signs all the time. Anyways, so there it is. I love it. I'm definitely going to put this one up in my house because I'm ready for summer and it's freaking cold in here. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use this ornament I got at Dollar Tree of this metal deer head. I'm going to use my Waverly antique wax as well as my Waverly chalk paint in the color cashew. This beautiful rustic looking scrapbook paper that came from this paper pad that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then one of these 12 by 12 wood panel canvases. I got this. It was in the $+ section, but they had marked it down to $1.25 because they were getting rid of them. So I started off by painting that wood canvas with my antique wax, and then I painted the deer head with the cashew. Then I laid my paper inside of this wood panel, and I am just creasing the paper where I need to cut it. Then I took my paper trimmer. I find that this is the best way for me to get a straight, even line most of the time. Can you believe, even sometimes with a paper cutter, I get it crooked. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so once that was all cut down, I took my tacky glue here. Don't ask me why I'm using this and not Mod Podge. I don't know. I was just in a mood. So I'm going to brush this all along the inside of my wood canvas. You could use Mod Podge. You could use a glue stick. You could probably even use Elmer's glue. Use whatever glue you like. So then I'm just going to place my paper right inside of it. I just love this one. And then I took this Distress Oxide, and this is called Vintage Photo, I believe, and a little dauber. And I'm just going around the edge of my painted deer head here. And I'm just going to go all around every edge of it that I can. Now, I was going to try and cover the holes with my spackling, but yeah, it didn't work. So once I was done with that, I took my Fix-All glue. I'm going all the way around the back of this, and I'm going to put it on my picture. I didn't even use hot glue because I knew this would be laying down for a while. As you can see, I have my Type Bond glue there because it was trying to pop up. But I'm taking I took 3 garland ties from Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping the ends together, and then I'm just going to make a circle and then wrap those 2 ends together. And then once I had it shaped the way I liked it, I'm going to put it around my deer head. I did move my Type Bond glue. And then I'm going to add some little hot glue here to glue it in place. So I just added it to the top, and then I just kind of went and tacked it down here and there all the way around to make sure that it was fully secure. After that, I took some of these pine cones. Now, I got these from Amazon. I think I have them in my Amazon store, but I know Hobby Lobby has a bag of them. I just ordered these because they had some really small ones included, and I wanted them for some different projects that I did this winter. Once I had those pine cones all hot glued, I took some of these wood snowflakes from Hobby Lobby. I did not paint them because I felt like the color really matched with the deer head and the the color of the snowflakes on the paper. Then I took my snow text here, and I'm just going to go all the way around my greenery, the pine cones. I even brushed a little bit on the snowflakes, and I even went with some really light brushing along my deer head. But once I had that all done, I'm picking at all those hot glue strings that drive me nuts. I took one of these. Now, if you saw my lantern video, I took these off of some picture frames, and I just decided to go ahead and use it, and I'm just hammering it into the back of this, and there it is. I love how this turned out. It is Woodland. It is Rustic. I love it. You have to let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below. DIY and number 2. Okay, so I'm going to use that ribbon from Dollar Tree that looks like Birchwood, my antique wax. I end up using like 2.5 packages of these garland ties from Dollar Tree. These are some wood dowels that I got from Walmart. They're 3/8 inch in diameter. And then one of these small wood plank hanging decor pieces from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use part of a pool noodle. I'm going to start off by taking my antique wax and brushing it all over my wood piece here, and then wiping off the excess with a paper towel. And I did both sides, and I made sure the ends were covered as well. And then after I was done with that, I took these dowel rods and I marked them at, I believe it was 8 inches, and I'm just using my miter shears to cut them. Now, if you don't have these, put them on your Christmas list. They are amazing. They cut through paint sticks, wood dowels. They cut through a lot of things, and I love them. Once I was done, I cut 2 of those down, and I left one, the 12 inches that it was. And then I'm taking a paper towel here and just wiping on some antique wax just to give it that brownish color. After that, I laid my wood plank up against my pool noodle here so that I know about what size to cut it, and I'm using my box cutter to kind of go around the diameter of it, and then I just use my scissors to kind of snip in the middle. And then I'm just going down the middle of that one that I cut and then break it in half. Now I'm just going to lay it on top of my wood piece. But before I do that, I took a small piece here. I used some hot glue and a small piece of that ribbon to cover the ends. And then I just like, I don't really like this because you can feel where it's melting in the pool noodle. So I took my Fabri-Tac glue instead, and I am just trying to squeeze it out. I don't know why it was so hard to squeeze out, but my hand was hurting afterwards. I think I need to do hand exercises because it feels like lately I've been having a hard time with opening jars and squeezing things. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac glue to add that ribbon onto my pool noodle. I'm just covering it like you see, and then I took another strip about the same length and covered the other side of it. And I also glued the ends down to the middle. You just kind of push the excess down into that little groove because you're not going to see it. It's going to be sitting on top of the wood piece. So here's where I'm putting on the second piece of this ribbon. And yeah, I love this ribbon. I think it's really cool. And it doesn't even feel like real ribbon. It's almost like a thicker tissue paper feel, crepe paper kind of feel actually. But it works really well. So once I was done, I just cut a little hole so that I could jab my dowels into it. I'm just cutting a little hole into the ribbon and into the foam, and then just pushing my dowels into that. And then I'm going to take that Fix-All glue and I'm going all around the edges of my pool noodle here because I want this to stay attached to that wood piece. And then I added some hot glue just to the dowels. That way that kept them in place. And then I just kind of held them firm. And then after that, I took my garland ties here and I'm cutting them down to 4 inches each. Now, I wish I would have done this at the beginning. At the beginning, I just started cutting. I wasn't paying attention. And so the bigger tree that I'd started with looks a little lopsided. I kind of had to add some bigger pieces to kind of help fill in the gap, but I just made sure the rest of them were all 4 inches long. And then I'm just adding glue to the top of each one, hot glue, and I'm just going to hold them in place. You definitely need a finger protector for this because it does seep through. And then after I had them, I think I did like 3 all the way around, and then I started the next layer and just went up a little bit from that. from where those other ones were. And then once I got to the top, I put it down I put the glue just a little bit down from the top of those so that the top part would hang up over the dowel. After I had them all on, I just kind of pulled out some of the branches outward a little bit, but then I took my snow tex and I'm just going to go around all the branches with it. I decided, because I could see a little bit of my pink pool noodle, that I would add a little twine to the bottom. And then I took some more of those pine cones and hot glued them just here and there around on the branches. And then I went ahead and look at all those glue strings. And then I went ahead and covered them with the snow tex as well. And I think that's all I did to it. Oh, no. I have one more thing. Once I have this all done, I bought these small little wood deer cutouts from Amazon. I'll make sure they're in my Amazon store. And I am just brushing them with my antique wax, and I am going to wipe off the excess. I did do both sides. And then after it was all done and dry, I'm going to just put some hot glue along the legs and the bottom of the feet and add it to the bottom of my trees there. And there it is. I love how this came out. It is so pretty and rustic and woodland. You have to let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below as well. Here's DIY number 3. Okay, you guys, I kind of got this idea from Pinterest. I saw something similar. So I'm going to use my fuzzy yarn. I'm going to use this Dollar Tree sign. I'm going to use some felt that I got from Walmart. And then I'm going to use this paper tablecloth that I found at Walmart. And then, of course, this snowman ring from Dollar Tree, wreath ring. If you can't find that, you can always put a bigger and smaller wreath ring together with a zip tie. And then that vinyl, and you could use like I'm trying to think, like skewers for the hands. Anyways, so I sanded all the glitter off. Now I put this on the back thinking this would be easier than trying to paint it or cover it with shipping paper, but it's still see-through. So if you wanted to do something like this and sell it or give it to somebody, you'd probably want to cover it with something else. But I painted the backside with my white paint. And then I let it dry and covered it with Mod Podge. And while my Mod Podge was drying, I am taking my wreath form, and I'm tracing out the part of the tablecloth that I want to show. And then after that, I am going to hot glue my yarn, and I'm going to just start wrapping. Now I start off by wrapping the body and then the head where it attached, and then as soon as I got to where it splits, I just start going over the body part, go all the way around, and then finish off the top. And then after that, I took some black yarn and I covered the hands with it. I can't remember if I show that or not. So then once my board was dry, I took my tablecloth, put it on my board, added some parchment paper, and I'm using my heat press to go over it so that it reactivates the hot glue and the tablecloth sticks to it. Then I'm going to add some more Mod Podge to protect that tablecloth, and I did not iron it afterwards. It didn't really have any wrinkles, and I didn't feel like it needed it. So then I just took my lighter here, and I am just burning the edges off. And be very careful if you're going to do this. I always have water next to me just in case. But it stops wherever the Mod Podge is. And then after it was done, I just sanded off all those little burnt pieces. And then I am going to hot glue this to the back of my snowman wreath body. And you guys, I love this one too. Oh, I think it's so cute. So then after I have this all hot glued, I took that felt and I cut it down to fit around the hat. And I am just going to hot glue it to that hat part, just like you see me doing right there. And then I'll hot glue the other side. And then I will hot glue the top. I'm just going to bring it down. I probably could have done something at the corners, brought it in a little bit more because you can kind of see one of the corners, but you know what? It's okay. Then I'm going to take my ribbon here. I got this, I don't know where. I think this is probably from Walmart. It's been hanging on my wall for a year. Anyways, and I'm just wrapping the little edge of that hat. It has
some metal that sticks out. So I just wrapped it with this ribbon, and then I'm just going to hot glue that on as well, because then that way it just kind of gives it a little more definition. Plus I love the way it looks. And then after I have that all hot glued on, I'm going to, this is where I took some black yarn and I just wrapped the hands just to kind of, I don't know, so it doesn't look like the metal. And this was really thin. This is cotton yarn. I thought I had, actually, I do think I have some thicker yarn, and I think I know where it is now, but I couldn't find it. So when I was done with that, I took some more of that ribbon and I'm just making a scarf, just tied a knot. And then I do cut it down and because it was a little too long. Then I had one of these cardinals from Dollar Tree, and it had some wire on the foot. So I just took it and wrapped it around the hand. And then I kind of hot glued the side of the head to the body of the snowman. It might kind of look a little dorky, but it was kind of flopping around and I didn't want it to flop around. So then I took these wood snowflakes from Hobby Lobby. I painted them white, and then I'm going to just hot glue 3 of them on the top of my hat here. And then I think I hot glue one on the middle of the scarf as well. Yeah. And then I did trim down the scarf because I felt like it was too long. And there it is. I love it. I think it is adorable. You'll have to let me know what you think about this as well. Ugh, I love them all. I just think they're all so cute. Anyways, I'm going to use some polyacrylic for this. I'm going to use my diamond dust. That's what it looks like. I got that from Amazon. I'll make sure it's in my Amazon store. This snowman ornament from Dollar Tree. This scarf from Dollar Tree. And then I bought this jar of mangoes earlier this year and thought, I'm going to save this because this looks like a snowman body. So I decided to use it for this video. And then some lights that I got from Dollar Tree. So I started off by removing that label, and that's probably the hardest part of this whole thing because it did take a little while. I kept having to use my heat gun and my little Cricut spatula there to scrape it all off. And then once I got all that paper off, I just used some Goo Gone to remove any of the adhesive residue that was on there. And then I just wiped it off with alcohol. And then I took my polyacrylic and I just put some in my jar, and I'm just twisting my jar, swirling it around to make sure that that jar gets evenly coated. And then once I'm all done, in fact, I almost spilt it on to my desk there. I was getting very close. But once I get done, I'm just I put it upside down into that cup you see there and let it sit there for a little while, about 20 minutes or so, and let it drip. Then I removed that hanger, and I'm removing this little band around this hat. And I just didn't feel like that plaid it just wasn't working for me. So I wanted to change it, and I didn't feel like it matched my theme here or everything else I had going on. So I took some of that scarf and I cut it down, and I'm just going to hot glue it all the way around that top part of his hat just to cover that plaid material. I put a little hot glue around the base there just to keep it all tacked over the rim. And then I'm going to hot glue it to the back there. And I don't know what it was, but I was just having a hard time being able to tack it. I don't know why I was having such a problem, but yeah, it was kind of funny. Anyways, then I just kind of folded the ends in and folded it backwards, and I hot glue it all in place, just like you see me doing right there. Have you guys got your Christmas shopping done? I'm pretty close to being done. I only have a few more things left to do, but yeah. Okay, so then after that, I just put this back on there. I liked the little greenery. I like the little pop of red, so I just went ahead and hot glued this back on. Just to let you guys know, I do plan on having, I think, later this week, a video that has some of the favorite Christmas DIYs from this year. And then I have the minis that I will be participating on Friday. I have my original collaboration on the 20th. And then I will probably only have one maybe 2 more videos after that, but they'll probably be the best of 2022 kind of videos. So just kind of a heads up. I want to take a little bit of a break, and I have family coming and I want to spend time with them. So there, I just poured, once my jar was done dripping, I put the diamond dust in there and just mixed it around so that it stuck evenly. I hot glued that snowman head to the top of the jar. Now I just took some more of this scarf, and I'm making a little scarf, a mini scarf, and I just hot glued it to the lid. Then I'm just going to cut some edges here to make it look like a fringe, like it is on the other end. And then voila, you can just take the lid on and off. I turned on the lights, stick it in, and there it is. Oh, I'm not done. I remembered, I thought, oh, Snowman needs buttons. So I found 3 buttons, black buttons, and I'm just going to hot glue them right on the front. And there he is. I love him. I think he is so cute. You have to let me know what you think too, and which one was your favorite today, if you have a favorite. I think the first one was my favorite, but it was really close because I really love them all. Okay, so here is DIY number 3. So for this DIY, I'm going to use some of these snowflakes. This comes from Dollar Tree. There's 4 on the string there. I'm going to use this sign, and that's also from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Waverly Antique Wax and my chalk paint and the color ink. I decided to take one of those different snowflakes that I had from Dollar Tree too. I included one instead of making them all the same, and I painted them with my antique wax, and then I painted the sign with my ink color. After they were all done, I'm taking my Tight Bond Thick and Quick. I always forget if it's quick and thick or thick and quick, but it's quick and thick multi-purpose glue. I'm adding that to the back of my snowflakes, then adding some hot glue for the immediate hold, and then the other glues for the permanent hold, and then just adding those right to the middle of my little signs. Then I took some of this ribbon from Walmart, and I am going to hot glue them to the back. I had removed the hanger from this sign when I was painting it. And then I thought, you know what, it'd look better if it had ribbon. And I found this ribbon, and I glued it to the back. Now I laid my square ruler here, or whatever they call it. So I made sure that they were like an inch apart, and tried to make sure it was as straight as possible so I could get it all hot glued together. And then once I had one side done, I took another piece of ribbon, and I'm going to hot glue the other side. And so here I'm just lining it up, making sure it's only an inch apart, making sure they're as even looking as possible. Then I finished hot gluing the ribbon on there. Then I took another piece of ribbon, and I'm just making a hanger. I hot glued it to the top there. Then I took my Snow Tex, and I am brushing this on. Those snowflakes, you know, have the holes from the hangers, and I didn't fill them with spackling, so I decided I'm just going to cover them up with my Snow Tex. So I went around all the edges. I think it looks really cute. I took some more of that ribbon, and I'm making a bow, doing again the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle and tying some jute string around it. And then I'm going to also dovetail the ends, and I don't know why I'm showing you all of this, but I am. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am ready to take some days off. I think I'll have to be doing that here right around Christmas, but anyways, it's been a busy month. So once I have this done, I am going to take some more of this. Well, I'm going to hot glue this on the top. I'm going to take some more of these greenery pieces that come from the candle wreath that I have from Hobby Lobby, and I'm hot gluing them behind my bow. And then I'm going to take a couple more of them and hot glue them on the bottom. And then I'm just going to add some pine cones to the bottom. And we have a very rustic, wintry little snowflake sign, and I love how this came out. I just think it is beautiful. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. And it's super easy, you guys. Really easy. Anybody could do this one. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color Night Sky, and I'm going to paint 2 of those snowflakes from Dollar Tree and that oval from Dollar Tree. Once they were all dry, I took this snowflake, I took one of the snowflakes, I created a stencil with my Cricut, and I am just laying it out on the snowflakes. Now, I did make 2 of these stencils, and I did do this to both of my snowflakes. I am removing my transfer tape here. I'm doing this actually pretty slow because there's a lot of small pieces on this, and especially in the areas where there was no wood snowflake underneath it, I was trying to lift it up. So I was having to work really hard at making sure that everything stayed in place. Once I had it all on there and smoothed out, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White and a stencil brush, and I'm just going to pounce up and down all around the cutout areas of my stencil. And then once I had it all done, I did use my heat gun to dry the paint a little bit, so that way it was a little easier to remove. I should say, so I didn't have to worry about getting wet paint on the blue when I was removing it. So here I'm just removing that stencil. And then I went with my little Cricut tool here and just pulled up all the little areas that was covered that needed to be pulled up as well. And I did this on, like I said, both of my snowflakes. So here I'm just taking some wood glue and I'm going over the edge of one of the snowflakes, and then I'm going to add some hot glue as well for the immediate hold, and the wood glue's for permanent. And then I'm just going to add the other snowflake on top of the bottom snowflake. Then I took this oval from Dollar Tree, and I also created this saying that says "Flakes Welcomed." I probably shouldn't have added a D on that, welcomed, but I did. Anyways, I'm looking at it now thinking, why didn't I just leave it welcome? Anyways, I saw this saying on a snowman on Pinterest, and I thought it was so cute, and I thought it'd be really cute with snowflakes. So I am adding some wood glue and hot glue to the back of my oval. Oh my goodness. And then I'm going to add this to the front of my 2 snowflakes there. I almost put it upside down. That would not have been good. And then after I had that on, I had some of this. This is some fuzzy, I think it was called gift trim. I bought this, I believe, last year from Walmart at Christmas time. And I am just going to hot glue it all the way around that oval. I thought it would be very pretty. And then I decided to go ahead and use that as a hanger as well. And it slid right through the holes with no problem. And then because it is wired, so that is probably why it slid through so easily. But anyways, I'm just tying a knot in the back here. And then I'm going to, it took a little bit here to get that edge to come through because it is wire, so it was kind of hard to pull, but I finally got it. And then I did the same thing on the other side. This side seemed to go easier. I think I made the end of it a little longer, so that was why it was a little easier. But I'm just going to tie another knot here, as you see. And then I have a hanger, and that's all there was for this one. Super easy, super simple. If you don't have a Cricut, you could use stickers for this. You could use any kind of snowflake stencil. Just use whatever resources you have on hand if you want to recreate. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So for this DIY, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paints in the color Snow White and ink. I'm going to use some pine cones. I'm actually going to end up using, I think, 5 of those. I'm going to use some of these little pine picks that I got off of a candle wreath from Hobby Lobby. This embroidery hoop I got at a yard sale for $3. And then this 14-inch wood round that comes from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to start off by painting that wood round with my ink, and then I'm going to paint that hoop with the Snow White. After they were all done and dry, I'm just going to put that hoop around my wood round and then tighten the little nut and screw that's above it. Then I'm just going to lay my greenery pieces down to make a snowflake design, and I am going to hot glue them all the way around. And now I did get this idea. I saw something similar to this on Pinterest, and I just thought it was so pretty. I wanted to recreate it, and I love how this came out. So after I had those all glued in, I took my pine cones and I am going to hot glue all around. I hot glued one in the middle, and then I took the other 4 and just hot glued around that one in the middle. After I had all those pine cones hot glued on, I guess I'm going to show you all of it. I didn't realize I was going to show you all this. Yeah. I'm going to take some of those berries. Now these pine cones and berries, they come in a pack with some little greenery picks. I got them in from Amazon. I do have them in my Amazon store if you're interested, but it's a great little pack. And I'm just going to add the berries here around. I added 4 berries, removed all those glue strings that drive me nuts. I'm taking a zip tie here, and I'm going around this screw with that zip tie. And I'm going to make a bow doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle. And normally I would use some twine or something to hold it in place, but instead I'm going to run it through my zip tie here. And then I took some cedar picks from Amazon, and then the frosted, I think they're called frosted ferns or something, I don't know, from Dollar Tree. I think I got them last year or the year before. And then I'm just going to tighten that zip tie to hold it all in place. And then I'm going to fluff up the bow. The ribbon came from Dollar Tree. It's not very good ribbon, you guys. It frays really, really bad. And yeah, anyways, I'm going to cut off that extra part of the zip tie. I'm going to dovetail the ends by folding and cutting at an angle. And then I'm going to add some ribbon going around that screw there. This came from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to tie a knot here to create a hanger, and then I'm going to trim off that extra. And that's all there was for this. It's super easy. The most time-consuming part was the painting, but other than that, it was so easy, and I think it is just stunning. You'll have to let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 3. I'm going to use Snow White and Crystal by Waverly. I'm going to use this beautiful napkin from decoupagenapkin.com. I think I got this a year or 2 ago, and I've been dying to use it. I'm going to use this round wood piece. I got this from Walmart, and then this Cathedral sign. So I'm going to start off by using my heat gun here and using my Cricut spatula to remove that welcome. Now I was trying to save it, but yeah, it didn't work. So I just continued using my heat gun, but you guys don't have it on too long, because look what happens. It was starting a fire. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so be careful with that. So then I took my finger sander and I went over and sanded all the areas to make sure it was smooth. And then I painted the window frame with the crystal and the round with the Snow White. After that, I'm going to cover it with Mod Podge and set it aside to dry. And then I'm going to remove the 2 plies behind this napkin. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to cut around this. And I thought, why am I cutting it? I don't really want to cut this because I don't want to have those straight edges. So I'm going to take a paintbrush with some water on it when I get done cutting it. And then I'm going to go around it again, just so you have more of those ragged edges. And when you do this, you want to be careful. If you have too much water on your brush, it really does spread. So just kind of be careful and be aware of that. Then I'm just going to I'm going to rip all of the wet area, so that way it gives a little bit more of a ragged look. And then I'm going to add it to my wood round. I'm going to cover it with my parchment paper, and then I'm going to use my heat press to reactivate that Mod Podge so that that napkin sticks. I love this way because you really don't get any bubbles or wrinkling.
And then I'm just going to cover it again with Mod Podge. Now, if you add too much Mod Podge in this spot, it will kind of bubble a little bit or wrinkle. If that happens, you can use your heat press or iron to iron it out a little bit. So then I decided I wanted a little bit of that crystal around. So there's that little ledge there. I'm just going around that ledge with my crystal color. And then after that, I painted a couple snowflakes with that. And then I painted like 4 snowflakes white. And then I'm just going to add them to my window frame and my wood ram. If I seem a little out of it with my editing and voiceover here, it's because they updated my editing software and it's a little bit different. And so, yeah, it's not quite the same. And so when I'm do my voiceover, it's just a little bit different. Okay, so I just used a glue pin there to add some glitter to those snowflakes that are on the wood round. I laid it where I wanted it. I marked it with my pencil so that I know where to place my glue. And then I'm using this Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-purpose glue. And then I'm going to use hot glue as well. Of course, that hot glue is for the immediate hold. The Tite Bond glue is for permanent hold. Then I'm just going to add that circle or wood round right back to it. And then I'm going to add my snowflakes around that windowsill. And then I took some of these picks. These also came off of a candle wreath from Hobby Lobby. And then I'm going to add some of these frosted berries. These also came from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to glue those in place. And I just thought this kind of goes with the little berries that's on that napkin. And then I am going to take some snow text and go around the windowsills here, or the cutouts of this window frame. And I also go around some of that wood round, just kind of a little bit. And then I'm going to put some more on the greenery just to kind of give it a little bit more white around it. And then after I had that all done, I'm going to take a couple of beads and some jute twine. I'm going to tape the ends of the twine together. And then I'm going to run it through going from the front to the back of my window frame. Then I'm going to put the ends that were taped through the folded end and pull tight. Then I'm going to just start threading through the beads. I had 3 beads there. And I'm just making a little hanger. And then after that, I'm going to cut off the ends with the tape. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. And then I have a hanger. And that's all there was for this one. I think this came out so sweet. And I don't know. I love it. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well in the comment box below. Okay, here's DIY number 1. So on this DIY, I'm going to use 2 of these 12-inch wood pieces from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use 5 of these 18-inch craft wood pieces from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paints in the color hazelnut, ink, and I did not use Snow White. Instead, I changed it out for plaster. I'm going to use this snowflake from Dollar Tree and then this wall tile also from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start off by removing that bow, and then I'm going to use my heat gun and paint scraper to remove that Mary sign. It pretty much popped right off. It didn't take much to get that off at all. And then after that, I'm going to trace out that wall tile with the snow flake. So I'm just going to trace the snowflake out on the wall tile. That's what I really meant to say. And then after that, I'm just going to cut it out. And after I had it all cut out, I decided to paint it. Now, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have glued this to the snowflake first and then painted it. So if you want to recreate this, I would suggest gluing it to the snowflake first. So I'm just using my Fix-All glue and my hot glue, and I'm going to attach that wall tile, the painted wall tile, to that snowflake. And then after that, I am going to take my hazelnut
And I am just going to go around and do some dry brushing all around the raised edges of this wall tile. And I'm just trying to go lightly, but any places that were a little darker than I liked, I did go over with some white. And then once that was dry, I took my 18-inch wood pieces, and I'm using a tumbling tower block just to kind of make sure it's spaced evenly. And then once I have them right where they need to be, I kept moving it around. It was getting a little frustrating there. Then I took the smaller wood pieces and I am tracing them along the top and the bottom of those longer wood pieces. Then I'm using my wood glue, and I'm just going to add my wood glue in between where I traced those small pieces. That way I knew where to use my glue. And then I'm just going to add some hot glue as well for the immediate hold. And look at that. I can't believe I did that. Anyway, so I added my pieces, and then I did the same thing on the top. After that, I painted the front and the back with my ink chalk paint, and I did it very lightly. As you can see, I wanted it to look distressed, and I loved the way this came out. So then I took some of this braided cord that I get from Amazon, and I hot glued it all the way around this snowflake. Now this did take me a little bit because of all the little curves and stuff. It did take a little bit to get this done. You know me, I just always like to add something to the edge of things, and I don't know if it helped or not. I like it. But anyways, after I had it done, I took some of these small snowflakes from Dollar Tree, and I am just covering them with my plaster chalk paint, and then I went over and did some dry brushing with the hazelnut. And then after I had that all done, I am going to use some wood glue on the back of this snowflake, and I'm going to glue it to the middle of my wood pieces there, and I used wood glue on the little snowflakes as well. Then I took that bow and that came off of it at the beginning, and I'm just going to hot glue it right on that big snowflake, and I made a finger bow with that corded rope, and I added there, and then I added a hanger, and that's all there was for it. I really love the way this came out. It's rustic, and I just love it. You have to let me know what you think about it as well. So for this DIY, I am going to use this candle wreath that I got from Hobby Lobby at 70% off. Those picks from Dollar Tree. And then I created the winter wishes on my Cricut. These wood snowman from Dollar Tree. 2 of these Dollar Tree crates, and this floral foam from Dollar Tree. And then my Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White and in Elephant. So I'm going to start off by using my wood glue and my hot glue, and I am just going to glue those 2 crates together. And after I get the wood glue on there, I'm just going to add some hot glue and just push them together. And then after I am done with that, I am going to paint them with my Snow White. And I also painted the little wood snowman as well. Once it was all dry, I went ahead with my hot glue, and I am just gluing them onto the bottom of my 2 crates there. And then I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant, and I'm just going to do some dry brushing all the way around the edges. I went around the snowman. I went a little bit in the middle. I just kind of went over wherever I wanted. And if you don't like distressing, and you wanted to recreate this, you could definitely skip this step. This is just something that I really enjoy doing. And then after that, I took my decal that I created that says Winter Wishes, and I am just going to rub it on to the front. And then I tell you, I was struggling. I even struggled with this one, trying to get it on. I don't know what it was. I was having a hard time, I guess. Anyway, so once I had it on there, I put the floral foam inside my little crates, and then I just started putting these picks in. I took the dark green ones and put them around each edge. And then I just started adding the other picks that came off that candle wreath. And then I just kind of put them all here and there. I did end up adding a few more. I found some more of the green picks from Dollar Tree, and I did add a few more like in the middle of it all. But I just kind of went in and just poked them all through wherever I felt they needed it and just kind of filled it all up. Now, I got this idea. My sister, I don't know where she got it. I don't know if it was Hobby Lobby, but she has something like this that says Merry Christmas on it. And I just thought it was really pretty. It's really simple. And I thought, you know what? I could do something like that for winter time instead of Christmas. So once I had it all full, I took these styrofoam balls and I'm just going to put them inside. I was thinking about covering them with some white yarn that I have, the fuzzy yarn, but I just thought, you know what? They look like snowballs just like they are. And that's all there was for it. I really love this. I think it's just so simple. Yeah, it just gives you that pop of winter. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take 3 of these hanging plaques from Dollar Tree and 3 of the little square wood pieces that you get in the 6-pack from Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the square pieces with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ivory, and then I'm going over those plaques with the antique wax. I got these from Essential Stencils just recently, right before the first of the year. And I love these. I thought they were so beautiful and such a great rub-on transfers for winter. So I'm going to use those today. So I cut out the ones that I want. I'm going to use this little hedgehog here. And I'm going to I laid it out on my little square wood piece. And I'm just going to rub my little, I don't know what you call that, rubbing tool. And I'm just going to start lifting up the transfer sheet until it's not pulling up. And you can see I'm pulling that and then I'm rubbing because it was pulling up, and I thought I was done, but it pulled up some of the little pieces there. So I just continued to rub until nothing came off of that transfer sheet. And then I'm going to add this cute little chipmunk or squirrel. I don't know which it is. My husband said it was a chipmunk. I said it was a squirrel, but I don't know. They're almost the same, I guess. And then I used these really adorable bunnies. This one was almost a little too big. I didn't get a lot of the branches, but that was okay because I really just wanted the bunnies. So I laid them in place, and I'm just kind of marking where I'm going to lay them so that way I know exactly where to put the glue. So I'm going to use my wood glue, and this is Tite Bond. I think it's Ultimate Wood Glue that I use. And this is a glue bot that Kathy Jo bought me. I think it was for my birthday last year. And you can get it on Amazon if you're interested in it. But I'm just going to add that to my plaque, and then I'm going to go around the edges with my hot glue. Now the wood glue is for permanent hold. The hot glue is for immediate hold. And then after I have that all laid out, man, this just seems like it's taking forever. I'm going to lay my little wood piece down on top of that plaque. And I did that for all 3. Look how cute these are. They're just so adorable. Anyways, I'm going to then, I'm going to show you the third one, I guess, the chipmunk. I think that one's my favorite. I just love that one. So cute. Anyways, I'm going to take some of these garland picks from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to hot glue these all around the my square piece there, and I'm going to do this on all 3. Talking about Hobby Lobby, I got there after Christmas when they had 70% off of their stuff. I did not go when they did the 90% off. I'm curious if any of you guys got stuff at 90% off at Hobby Lobby. Let me know in the comment box if you did. I'm just curious to know. So then I took some of these came off of the candle ring picks that I love to use from Hobby Lobby. I get them. In fact, I got quite a few when I went into Hobby Lobby for their 70% off. I stocked up for the year. Look what I just did. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. And of course, I got a whole bunch of hot glue. I did pull up a little bit of the image on the ear there. I was so bummed. I couldn't believe that. But after I got done fixing all that, I laid them down, and if you recreate this, I would do the pine cones and picks after you do this part because it's kind of hard to glue with those things on it, the front. But I'm just taking some of this ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm gluing it along the back, along the pieces that connect all of those strips. And I had counted like 4 black bars on the plaid, so that I'd know, so that they would all be even lengths apart. So that was me counting and holding it in place so I know where to lay it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and there I go, counting again. And then after I had that on there, I took some more of that ribbon. I'm going to use this as a hanger. I decided instead of gluing this, I'm going to use my stapler, and I'm going to staple the ribbon in for the hanger. And then that way it also kind of stapled the piece that I glued down for a little more permanent hold. And you'll see me here in a minute. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I think I'm counting the squares there too to make sure that I am stapling them at the same length. You see, I kept trying to grab my hot glue gun there. And then I did go down the whole thing with my stapler here, and I just stapled, I stapled in the middle there, but I think I just mainly stapled on the top and on the bottom of each one. That way it just kind of reinforced it. So then I just took some more of that ribbon, and I'm just making a regular shoelace bow here. And I'm just going to try and get it the size that I want. And then I'm going to dovetail the ends, which is you fold it in half and then cut at an angle just like that. And after I had that all done, I'm just going to hot glue this to the top of my sign. And that's all there was for this. Super easy, but you guys, this is just adorable. I think it looks like something you could buy at Hobby Lobby personally. But Essential Stencils, they have beautiful rub-on transfers, so check their site out if you're interested. Okay, DIY number 2. So I'm going to take 2 of those wood plaques from Dollar Tree and 2 of their bamboo cutting boards and paint them with Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, which is black. 2 of their snowflakes from Dollar Tree and go over them with my antique wax. And then these are 2, I think they're like 3-inch circles. I got them years ago from Amazon. I'm going to paint them with my Waverly chalk paint in the color ivory. Did a lot of painting on this one. And then once they were done, I am taking my Type Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue, and I'm brushing it on. I'm almost at the end of my bottle, so that's why I'm using my brush. And I am just going to put that on the bottom as well as some hot glue. I'm going to attach the cutting board to the back of the plaque. Then I'm going to take these rub-on transfers, and I'll show you all of these here a little later on in the video, but these came from Amazon, and I'm going to rub these on. You don't have to rub very much on these. These are a little different than the Essential Stencil ones. These are a little more plasticky feel, but they still work great. So, and it's the same premise of just, rubbing and then pulling off that top sheet. And I'm going to do one on each one of those. Now I want to say something real quick about this Essential Stencil rub-on transfers. A lot of times their rub-on transfers go out of stock very quickly, but if you keep checking back during the season, a lot of times they come back and you're able to get them again. So I've had in the past, I've used Essential Stencil, and then I've had people say I can't find it, and that's because they're out of stock. But just keep checking back if you're really wanting something that's theirs, because they usually do get it back in. So I'm going to take my antique wax here, and I was going to go around the edge, but I just didn't like the way it was looking, so I decided to go ahead and go around the whole circle with my antique wax. And I'm just using a paper towel there to just kind of brush it all on. I didn't realize I showed you all that part. But anyways, I'm just going to rub it all on both of those little wood pieces there. And then I'm going to use my Type Bond glue here again. And I'm going to glue them to the front of these snowflakes. And I am just brushing that all on the center of the snowflake, because I know that's where my little round is going to go. I do end up going a little further. I'm checking here going, oh, I can go a little further down. So I went to that little notch there, And then I'm just going to add my little wood piece right in front of the snowflakes. And I do that for both of the snowflakes there. And then I took my painter's tape here. These are some little jars. I've had these in my stash forever. And I am going to put my painter's tape all the way around it. And I'm just marking it and making sure that it's staying right about an inch from the bottom. And I'm just going around it and keep checking it until I get to the very end. And then I make sure that my ends meet. Whew. Then after that, I am going to paint the bottom of two of these. Oh, no, I'm going to use alcohol. I sprayed my paper towel down with alcohol, cleaned it really well. Then I'm going to go over the bottom with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Ivory. And I just did one coat. I didn't care if it was a real thin coat or not, because you'll see what I'm going to do here. I love this method. I did this once years ago by accident, and I just loved the way it came out. And so I use this method often. It gives it kind of a wood look. So once I have both of the bottom parts of these painted and dried, which should be any moment here, I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm going to brush it over that light color. And I just love it because it just gives it a faux wood look, or at least in my opinion it does. And I love the look that it gives. And so I'm just doing a light coating of my antique wax over it and just kind of getting it to where I think it looks like wood, and then let it dry. After it's all dried on both of that little that little handle kept getting in my way. Should have just took it off. I decided to go ahead and cover the edge with my braided jute ribbon that I absolutely love. I get this on Amazon. It is in my Amazon store, which I have a link to that in the description box. And I'm just going to go around and glue this right at the edge where the paint starts. And I'm going to do that on both of those there. And then after that, I'm going to take some Mod Podge. I decided to go ahead and go over the painted area with Mod Podge just to help protect it. You know, paint does like to scratch off easily from glass, and this just helps kind of protect it from those scratches. Then I'm going to take some of this ribbon. This ribbon I got from on clearance years ago from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to do just some little shoestring bows, nothing special, just some little bows. And I'm going to dovetail the ends. And I'm just putting these on to help cover those hanger holes that are on the snowflakes. And I'm just going to glue it right above it there, right there. And then I went ahead with my tight bond glue again, and I'm going to go all around the back of my snowflake because this is going to be glued onto that cutting board or breadboard, whatever you want to call it. The bamboo board. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it right at the top here, just like you see. And I'm going to do that on both of those. And then I took some more of these greenery picks and I'm just going to glue it all the way around. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it in the back there, but there was a little bit of a gap. So I just decided to go ahead and cover that gap with it. And then I'm just going to go all the way around with my little pick here. And then I just grabbed another one and continued on. And then after I had it completely going around the base, then I'm just going to use my little wire cutters to cut off that excess. Then I took these little fairy lights I got from Amazon, and I'm just going to put them inside of each of those little jars. And we have the cutest little shelf sitter. I love how these came out. It's so rustic. It's woodland and rustic. And yeah, I love it. I hope you do too. Let me know in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this mason jar sign from Dollar Tree. I'm using my heat gun and my paint scraper to remove that metal piece. And once I have that all removed, I'm then going to use my heat gun to try to release some of the glue on the front of that sign. It didn't work as well as I hoped, but I was able to just start peeling off the paper and
get it all off. I then spritzed it with water. I let it sit for, I don't know, 5 to 7 minutes. I had to run and put stuff in my crock pot. Then I came back and I am just scraping off all of that residue paper that was left over. So if you don't like doing this kind of stuff, you could just do the back part of it. I always just like to have mine look like a finished product. So then after that, after I had it all off, I painted both the front and the back with the Waverly chalk paint in the color Snow White. Then I took this bag. I got this before Christmas at Walmart. I'm going to remove the tags and the hanger, and I'm going to cut out the snowman. Now there's two sides to this. One is got glitter, one does not. I picked the non-glittery side. And the reason why I'm doing this one today is because I did have someone ask me to do some DIYs with gift bags, and I don't have any Valentine gift bags and I can't buy anything right now. So I had this specifically to do for a Christmas craft, but since I never used it for a Christmas craft, I decided to go ahead and use it for winter. So I cut out the bag, and now I'm just going to fussy cut all around the snowman and just cut him out. So so that's why I have winter and Valentine's Day DIYs on this. You guys, I think I'm done with winter and Christmas. I struggled with getting 2 winter DIYs for this video, and I think it's just because I'm ready to go on to something different and something new. As much as I love Christmas and winter DIYs, I'm ready to pack up the winter crafting supplies and get on to something new. So I am just going to trace out this snowman, and I'm only doing this so that I know where to stick my Mod Podge. And once I have him all traced out on my board, then I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm just going to brush it all in along the inside part of those lines. And then I will set it aside and let it dry. And it really only takes I wouldn't say 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but it's usually less than that to completely dry. So once it was dry, I took my snowman, I placed him back where he was using the lines to guide me on where to lay him. Then I put some parchment paper over the bag to protect that bag. And then I'm using my heat press to go over it to reactivate the Mod Podge so the bag sticks. Now, if you don't have a heat press, you can use an iron. You just don't want to have any steam on it. And then after I was done, I just took some more Mod Podge and went over my snowman. Now, you can see that crease right in the middle of his scarf. I tried to iron that out, but it did not want to come out. And I did that before I added this onto the mason jar. And I thought, well, we're just going to have to live with it. So once that Mod Podge was dry, I took my this was Folk Arts Nantucket Blue. I love this color. And I'm just taking a really small paintbrush just to outline the snowman, because I decided after I did this, I'm like, I don't want it to be a white background. It's not popping at all. So that's why I decided to go ahead and paint it with this Nantucket, which is pretty much the same color as Night Sky by Waverly. And in case you don't know, both Folk Art and Waverly are pretty much the same. So I think Plaid does both of them. But anyways, I then decided I wanted to look like there was a hill next to the snowman. So I just kind of drew a circle, like a lump, and then painted the top part of it and left the bottom part of it white so it looks like a snowy hill. Then I just took a big paintbrush here, finished painting all of that off. Once it was dry, I used my little finger sander to sand off the extra bag that was hanging over the edge. And then I took my wood letters. I got these from Amazon. They are in my Amazon store. If you are interested, that's in my description box. There's a link to it. And I put them on some painter's tape and painted them white. And then I'm using my Titebond Quick and Thick Multi-Surface Glue. I'm brushing it on because I'm towards the end of my bottle there, and I'm just trying to use up all of it. And this is the easiest way to do it. So I'm just using an old brush here to brush on my Titebond glue and put those letters in place. And it takes, I would say, less than 5 minutes for them to dry and stick. So once I had all my letters on there, then I took the back of a paintbrush and I am dipping it in my white paint to make little snow dots. And I do end up putting some at the very top where that metal piece was. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to add the metal piece or not. And I had this little branch laying next to me, and I put it on there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love this. It looks like a little tree branch hanging down from above. So I went ahead and just glued that on instead of that middle piece. I added a little bow to it, and then and the bow and this hanger are the handles for that bag. So I'm just going to use it for the hanger, and there it is. It's really cute. It might look a little Christmassy because of the red on this snowman, but you know what? It can transfer over into winter. I really love how this came out. I hope you did too. Okay, so this is DIY number 2. I took these tag signs that I've had in my stash for a couple of years. I got them at the resale store by Habitat for Humanity. You could use any tag sign that you have if you want to recreate this, but I'm just going to remove the strings, and I'm only going to use one of those tags. And I decided to go ahead and use my little finger sander to kind of sand off some of that wording just so that it didn't show through the paint right away. And when I was doing this, you guys, I actually didn't know what color I was going to paint it. So I decided to paint it with my black. So I could have probably just went over it with the black and not need to sand it, but I'm fine with sanding it. Once it was dry, I found on Cricut Design Space this saying, which is what I knew I wanted to use. And I was going to create it, but I thought I'll check and see if it's on Cricut Design Space. It makes it easier. And so I made a little stencil with it. And then I am just using my white chalk paint, again, my Snow White by Waverly. And I'm just pouncing my brush up and down all over the words. And then once I was done, I just removed that top part. I used my heat gun to just dry it some, and then I'm using my little weeding tool to remove the middle pieces of the letters with that vinyl, because I didn't want to do it while the paint was wet, because I've done that before and smeared paint everywhere. So then I took some of these small wood snowflakes. I get these, I think, from Hobby Lobby. I painted 2 of them white, and I'm using my glue gun to glue them in place, just like you see. And then after that, I took a little, what is that thing? Holder that I got from Woodpecker Crafts. Excuse me. I painted that black and put my sign in it. I'm making a finger bow here. I'm just wrapped both fingers once, and then I am just taking that extra long tail, coming around that wrap that's between my fingers, going through that little area and pulling tight. I do this really slow so that you guys can see it, because I always have a hard time explaining what I do. So just really watch that. You can rewind it if you need to. And then I'm just going to dovetail the ends, which means you just fold in half and cut at an angle. I'm going to do that to both ends, and then I'm going to hot glue that. Now, I had some plans to do something a little bit different on this, but I just changed my mind and decided I wanted to just keep this simple. And you guys, we had snow this week. It's already melting. I'm so glad, because I really don't like snow. I had too much in my life. I'm done with it. But I love this saying. I hope you like this DIY. Let me know in the comment box below. Okay, DIY number 1. So I'm going to take this wood cup from Dollar Tree, latte cup, and I'm going to paint the non-raised areas with my Waverly chalk paint in the color crimson. Now, I have seen, I don't remember who it was, I saw someone use their heat gun and they were able to remove the top parts, but I cannot get mine to come off. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not patient enough. So I decided just paint around it and cover it up. So I'm going to take, once it was dry, I took some scrapbook paper. This came from one of my Christmas paper packs that I have. And I am just going to, I was trying to score the sides with that embossing tool, but it just kept cutting holes. So then I just took my fingernails and then just scored it and then cut all around it until I had both pieces cut out. Then I'm going to use my Mod Podge here, and I'm going to go over both of those raised areas with the Mod Podge, and then I'm going to set it aside for a few minutes and let it dry. Once it was dry, I
placed my paper over those areas, put my parchment paper over that to protect the paper, and then I'm going to use the heat press to go over it so that it reactivates that Mod Podge, and then the paper sticks nicely without any bubbles or wrinkles. And I'm going to do the same thing on the very top. I just love this method because it always works out so perfectly. So once I am done with that, I'm just going to very carefully put small amounts of Mod Podge over the paper just to help protect that paper. And then after I had both of them covered, I took my antique wax here. I just wanted to darken it up a little bit, and I'm just brushing my wax over the paper, and then I'll use my paper towel to just kind of rub it in and get it all over the paper there. Then I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew and painted one of these snowflakes from Dollar Tree, but you know what? I couldn't tell the difference where it was painted and not painted because the colors are almost exactly the same. So you really wouldn't have to paint it. I am going to take my Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue here. And since I'm getting to the end of my bottle, I'm just using a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, to brush on that glue on the back of my snowflake. I'm going to put it right on the front of my cup. Then I took this 12 by 12 wood plank. I got this one from Amazon. They have a really good deal for a box of them. You can get them if you can find them at Dollar Tree, or Woodpecker Crafts also sells them, and I am affiliate and have a link to them in the description box if you're interested. But I'm just going to brush on my antique wax here and then just wipe it off with a napkin. And I'm only doing the top and bottom part. I'm leaving the middle empty or clear. And then I'm just going to add Mod Podge to it and let that Mod Podge dry. And I'm going to do the same thing with my paper that I used on my latte cup. I'm going to just cut a piece out. I needed to kind of cut two pieces. It wasn't long enough. So I made sure I'm matching it to where you can't see the seam because the lines all match. I'm got them all where they need to be, and I just lightly put my parchment paper over that and just kind of making sure it didn't move on me here. And then lay it down and use my heat press to go right over it so that it sticks to my sign. And just like the previous time, I covered it with Mod Podge as well. And then I'm just going to use my antique wax to go over it, blend it in. And then I took some of this braided jute cord that I absolutely love, and I'm going to glue it all along the top part of that paper, just so that it gives it a nice finished look. And after I had that done, I did the same thing on the bottom part. And if you haven't been around for a while, I love this braided jute cord or ribbon or whatever you want to call it. I have it in my Amazon store. I have a link to that in my description box, but I love this stuff. I use it all the time. I just think it's very pretty and a nice way to just finish things off. I took all of these letters are from Amazon. There's 1-inch letters, and then these I think are 2-inch cursive letters. And I got enough to spell out warm winter wishes. And I am just using my Tite Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue again, putting it around the back of my letters, and then I'm going to connect them all until they're all on there. I forgot to hit record, or something happened, and so I got some of those snowflakes there from a pack from Hobby Lobby, and I just glued them on. I didn't paint them because basically they're the same color as that cashew color. And I also glued my latte cup with some wood glue and hot glue onto my sign. Now I'm just going to take some twine here and make just a small finger bow, and then I'm going to put that right over the top of my snowflake to cover up that hanger hole. And I'm just trying to think if I covered up the hole on the top of the latte cup. I was thinking of doing it, and I don't remember if I did or not. So we'll both be surprised. We'll see here in a minute if I do. Once I have this glued on, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there playing, I guess. And I have that on here. Let's see what I do next, because I just did this last night and I don't remember. Oh my goodness. I think I was supposed to cut some of this out. I was probably falling asleep. So yeah, I don't think I put anything on the top of that latte cup. I'm going to add a hanger, but I would recommend making 2 holes, and I would recommend doing that before you add those snowflakes, because I'm going to have to fix it because it hangs crooked because of the latte cup. But I couldn't make holes because of those snowflakes. But anyways, let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. I only have 3 DIYs for you guys. I was too busy to get a 4th one done. So I'm going to take this Snowflake and Snowman from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paints in the colors Night Sky, White, and Dusk. And then I created this Cricut, stencil. Stencil with my Cricut. Oh my goodness. I created this saying. I saw it on Pinterest and I thought it was really cute and I thought it would be fun to do this. So I just went over it with that dusk color and I'm just going to remove my stencil. I do get this stencil vinyl from Amazon. I think it's the Frisco brand. And then I had some of these snowflake stencils from a previous DIY that I did like last month. I had some left over that I didn't use. So I thought I'm going to use them on this. I thought it would be perfect. So I'm going to use that dusk color on the snowflakes and then the night sky on the little polka dots. Then I'm taking my pumpkin paint and I'm just very gently and lightly going over the nose, trying to not get it over my white because I'm really good at doing that. And I was proud of myself. I didn't get any on the white. And once I had the nose painted and dried, I took a pencil here. I'm drawing in the eyes, and then I'm going to use my black paint marker to color those eyes in, just like you see me doing right there. And after that, I think I'm going to use the same pen marker to draw out a smile or dots for the mouth. Because, you know, snowmen usually have little coal or rocks for the mouth, right? And then after that, I did take a white paint marker. I think I'm going to show this. I'm going to add I'm going to do this first. I have this stencil with polka dots and I always forget to use it. And I remembered I had it behind me. So I just went in and added some polka dots to the scarf. And then this is where I added some white lines and dots to his eyes to bring it to life. I laid it where I wanted it on the snowflake and I'm just using my pencil to trace it out. And then I'm going to use my wood glue and hot glue along that mark line. So that way I can glue my snowman in place. And you guys, I really, really love how this one came out. I just think it is so cute and it would be a fun door hanger. And yeah, perfect for winter, right? I know a lot of you said you'd like to see more snowman and winter DIYs. So this is got both of them in one. I'm going to take my silver glitter glue by Folk Art here, and I wanted to just go all around the edge of the snowflake just to kind of give it some glitteriness. Is that a word? Glitteriness? I don't know. Probably not. It's now a word because I just made it up. Anyways, I'm going to go all the way around the edge of the snowflake with that. And once I got it all done, I thought, you know what? I want some of those snowflakes to shimmer and shine too. So I'm just going to kind of dab a little bit all around the snowflakes because I didn't want to mute the color too much, but I want it to have a little bit of that shimmer to it. So that's what I did. Then I decided to go over the bottom of the snowman with it. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. It almost looks like a dirty snowman, but it still looks okay. And I still love this one. I really do love this sign. But anyways, I'm just going to go over all of this. And yeah, I think I might have to hang this on my door after I take my wreath down. I'm going to add some ribbon. This is like it's got silvery ends, but it's see-through in the inside with some gray specks. And I think it's from Walmart, but I'm just going to use that as a hanger. So I'm going to just tie some knots, and I'm using the hanger hole on the snowman and the snowflake. And then I just add a little snowflake on his hat. And oh my gosh, you guys, I love this. I really hope you do too. You have to let me know in the comment box below.
Okay, here's DIY number 3. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I bought these little houses from Dollar Tree and I took them out and I spray painted them white. At the time, I did not know what I was going to do with them. I just knew that it was going to be cold and I wouldn't be able to spray paint them, and I wanted to spray paint them. So I did. And this morning it came to me, I remembered I had these houses and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. So I took this little board that I got from Dollar Tree earlier this year, and I am just giving it a good coating of white. Now I do give it 2 coats. because that green is so bright and the words kind of come through. Then I took my antique Waverly wax and I'm going to go over that white paint with it. So I'm brushing it on here, and then I'm going to do my normal thing of taking a paper towel and wiping it off, but it wasn't what I had in mind. That's not the look I was really going for. So I decided to just add more of the antique wax and not wipe it off. And this is exactly what I was thinking in my mind. It just gives it that wood look, and I love it. So once it was all dry, I took my houses and I'm just kind of placing them where I think I want them. And then I'm going to use my E6000 and hot glue to adhere these houses to the board. And of course, the E6000 is for permanent hold and the hot glue is for immediate hold. So after that, I took some of these little trees. I think that one was from Walmart, and then the smaller ones are from Dollar Tree. And I am just going over and hot gluing them to the sides on each side of the houses there, as you can see. And I just love this. It's so simple. I think that's what I love about all of these DIYs today. They're just really simple and just really pretty. So I took some more of that black checkered ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just wrapped it around the base of this, and I'm just hot gluing it together. And then after that, I take some little tiny black checked bows that I got from Hobby Lobby in the miniature ornament section, and I just hot glue one on each of the taller houses. And that's all there was for this one. And again, I don't know what it is, but the simplicity of it just makes it beautiful. And I am in love with it. I do add a few little candles in the back, some LED candles, and there it is. And I just love how it looks. It's so fresh and clean. And that's kind of what I feel like after Christmas when you put all your decor